So in today's outrageously exciting video, we're going to be looking at a Telecaster shaped guitar, which in one way could be described as an upgrade to a normal Telecaster, and in another way could be described as a downgrade compared to a normal Telecaster. Take it away, maestro. Now, unfortunately, there is more of that later.
You just made an enemy for life!
Hi there folks, welcome to Dunzy's Guitar World. So yes, today's guitar, a made in Japan guitar. The serial number begins with A, so my thinking is that's 1985, 86, and the guitar is, well, in case my wife is watching, the guitar is not mine, this is on loan from a friend. Very nice looking instrument there, I think you'll agree. A Fender Esquire. So, why could this be described as an upgrade from a normal Telecaster? Well, it has binding front and back, so I guess it is a custom. And why could it be described as perhaps a downgrade? Because it only has one pickup. No pickup there. There's a pickup there. So let's have a look at the history of the Fender Esquire Custom. So the very first custom Telecasters, the normal Tele-Custom and the Custom Esquire, were released in 1959. So there are no production numbers for the first few years, but come 1966, there weren't really that many made at all, maybe into single figures I have read on the internet, and they went out of the Fender catalogue about 1969, 1970. So the Fender ones are really quite hard to get these days. And then in 1985, Fender Japan started making these. So what I'll do is I'll look at the specs first, because normally I would do a sound test. However, this bridge pickup has been replaced. This is a DiMarzio. I'm not 100% sure which model it is, but let's look at the specs of how this would have came from the factory in terms of electrics and what is made of the body construction. So it's a double bound alder body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, 42mm wide at the nut, and the neck is described as a U-shape. Here is the profile of the 1st fret and the 12th fret. It's got vintage style tuners and vintage style frets, a volume control, a tone control. Now this switch from the factory, here's what it does. Now I do need to read this from the internet. This is from a website, I think it's Bill Alston. I will put a link down below. He has some fantastic information on Japanese guitars, so I'm taking information from his website. The switching is position 1 through a capacitor and a resistor circuit to give bass tones, position 2 through the volume and tone, position 3 through the tone only. So I'm not 100% sure how this is currently wired, but in all of these sound samples that I will be doing, I'll be using all 3 positions. So clean sounds, we've heard clean sounds. I'll tell you what it's really good for, punky type stuff. I'm sitting here safe in my Edinburgh home. Let's hear some more. So the DiMarzio pickup sounds really good. It is a bit unfortunate that I don't have the original one, so you can hear that. But I guess a lot of people have maybe upgraded these at some point. They do come with American stock pickup. I do like this. I do like the sound of this. Let's hear some classic rock. Can it do classic rock? This one pickup, Esquire Custom. It can indeed do classic rock, some Blue Oyster Cult classic rock. So what do I think of this guitar? It's been lovely having a loan of this, I've got to say. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking instrument. It plays really well. I like the neck shape. The DiMarzio pickup sounds really good. It's not a heavy guitar. It's about £8 or something, maybe just under £8. It's a delight to play, a real delight to play. Unfortunately, it's not mine. So yes, I've loved having a loan of this. I've got another Telecaster from my same friend, which I will be demoing. That's a 70s Fender American one. But this one, for a one pickup, Esquire, custom, made in Japan, 1985, 1986. Yes, it really is a lovely instrument. And sounds great, plays great, wish it was mine. So if you've enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you could maybe give me a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed and you have enjoyed it, maybe found it informative, maybe not, maybe subscribe. So as ever folks, I'm going to play you out with a ramshackle jam. I'd describe that as a ramshackle jam in the key of C sharp minor, I think, can't remember. On this guitar I will be using all 3 positions on the switch. On this DiMarzio pickup I haven't worked out what the switch is wired, but it sounds good in all 3 positions. So it's a privilege and a pleasure, as it always is, bringing you content on Dunsi's Guitar World. I should have one of those theme songs that Justin Hawkins does. But he can sing and I can't. Cheers for now.